Hello, Pod Smashers of the Internet, and welcome to another episode of
80-bit Pod Smash celebrates E3,
where gaming goes to grab a beer. We are your hosts.
Penguin and Termite. I am Penguin.
I am Termite, and we are a weekly video game podcast smashing together ideas that you care about with video games.
That's right, and this week we are doing our traditional annual E3 get pumped, get hyped, start doing predictions episodes. Things are going to be a little different this week because we are both doing a live show the week that we're recording this, which is the week of May 12th for listeners later, but we're also recording it as an episode to drop 2 weeks from now, which will end up being like a week before E3 starts or something like that. So
it'll be fresh for you audio listeners.
Yeah, for those who are listening later, those who are watching, I guess those maybe we'll probably put this up on YouTube at the same time. So those who are watching on YouTube later, E3 is just around the corner for you. Those who are watching this live tonight, we're still a little bit ways off, but that's okay because we want to do this live and we're trying something different. So you're getting content ahead of time. So apologies for those who may be watching now that would want to listen later.
You get both.
Hop off now. Maybe hop off.
Listen to us again. Check us to make sure we're not wrong.
Right. So so the couple of notes were going to be when the episode drops. So for audio listeners, because we did this live, it's going to be a little bit longer of a show, but it's also going to be raw and unedited and not uncut. Yes, you'll hear all of the awkward uhs and ahs and that usually cut.
Still family friendly.
Right. Yeah. So hopefully family friendly. We're live and raw. And who knows what happens when the cameras are live? So, and then in addition to that, we are going to be a little bit more selective than we normally are in regards to what we respond to in the chat, since this is live. So we will still probably respond to you, but we'll probably mostly try to respond to questions about the actual content or specific to E3. And then for the listeners, we will try to repeat what we said. So a little weird, a little different. We're doing things differently, but we are still where gaming goes to grab a beer. So before we get into jump into our E3 hype episode, then we wanted to talk about what beers we're drinking. So
I can show it now in the camera.
You can show it. You can
Look
show
at
it in
that.
the camera.
I am drinking another beer that I found from Maryland, which I talked about on the show last week. This is a limited release. I think the brewery is Clown Shoes, and it is a double dry hopped New England style IPA called Yeehaw 2021. And you can see a man on a pig in space on an asteroid wearing a helmet with what looks like a dog on the helmet. It is absolutely insanity going on in this can. And there's some words to read. Until the space otters nudged him back to the straight and narrow, Jim was destined for a life of space piracy. But he learned a valuable lesson from those darn otters. Just because you've harnessed the power of a hobby horse comet doesn't mean that power is destined for thievery and deception. Lasso yourself into that glorious stratosphere, Jim, and continue your heroic deeds of galactic generosity. This year's edition of our first ever New England IPA doubles down on its tropical citrus focus with a double dry hopping in the fermentation tank. With Citra, Azaka, and Mosaic hops leading the way, DDH Yeehaw is an explosion of the fruit notes and smooth, full-bodied flavors that is exemplary of this modern style. Don't really know what the hobby horse comet is doing in that story, but okay, it's really good. This was probably the best of the Maryland set that I had. I actually had one of these over the weekend, and I really loved it. It is a double dry hopped New England IPA, so it is all of the things the can described, the fruity citrus notes that you would get from a IPA, and all of the bitters of the hops. It is glorious, refreshing, clean, and well-balanced.
Clean? What's a clean beer?
It doesn't leave anything in your mouth. Nothing. Okay. Like it all goes down. No bubbles, no sediment, no like chalk taste, no.
Right. I got you. Yeah.
Nothing lingers. Clean.
I'm drinking another of my victory Sour Monkeys. I got a 6-pack of this because we had to record an episode Monday, so this is the first time for viewers seeing me drink this, but the second time the listeners, if they're listening in order, have heard me drink this beer. So Victory Sour Monkey, it's amazing. It's a Belgian sour triple, and anything with the word triple in it usually means daddy-like because it's got a lot of alcohol in it.
It's got that booze. Daddy juice.
Sour. It's sour, and it's I love sours in the summer. I'm like a sour and stout guy, and you can usually look at the calendar and know what Penguin wants to drink any given day, because if it's summer, I want sour. If it's winter, I want stout. So spring and fall are the transitional periods where I might be interested in trying different styles in those periods. But
yeah.
But it's for the listeners, it's going to be June, so it's solidly summer at this point.
Yep.
Right.
We've already had a couple of days up in the 80s. What do we got?
Yeah. All right, so we're going to jump right in because
we got a long road ahead of us.
Since this is live, we don't want to do a bunch of meandering stuff. So apologies for the listeners that typically like to hear our segments, but we're going to jump right in to the point of this episode is to generate hype for E3. So let's start generating some hype for E3. So yeah, we're talking about E3 tonight. We do this annually, but last year we missed it because there was no E3. So so instead, last year we did an episode about how the coronavirus impacted the summer of gaming. So this year we're glad to be back because E3 is back. So we're going to talk about So we're going to talk about the biggest week in gaming and talk about what we expect to be announced. So again, go ahead.
No, what's awesome about E3 is, especially when you're in our chairs, like trying to think about what to do with it and how to predict it, how to talk about it, is every bit of the news that we cover all year long is kind of at a head here, because all of the predictions, anything we talk about has the context of what these studios have been doing, what the companies, the platform holders have been doing all summer, the close, the layoffs, the buying out of each other, the merges, all of the crazy things going on, the failures of the industry, the successes all lead to like new stuff. And it's so cool to, like, as I was putting this together, I didn't realize how much I missed it last year. But also we have 2 years worth of gaming news that's feeding into this like Christmas of video games.
Yeah, lots of delays that we know about, lots of games that have been announced that we know have gotten delayed because of the coronavirus, but imagine all the games that got delayed that hadn't even gotten announced yet.
Yeah, right.
That they decided to hold back to give more development time, to get it more polish. This is the year where like a lot of stuff I think is going to come out. So I think it's going to be a big E3. I hope so. You always want E3 to be big.
I do.
But for those who don't know, who maybe are joining us for the first time, who don't know what E3 is a big, it's like Comic-Con for games. It originally started as a chance for developers to talk. It was like an in-house shop thing, more like a trade show than an actual thing. But over the years, it's just become the time when games get announced. The big time in the summer, the big push. So the way we've broken this up is we are going to talk about each of the publishers / developers / companies that have confirmed that they're going to be doing announcements at E3. We'll talk a little bit about the obvious absent people, and then maybe some predictions about what they might be planning to do and announce as alternatives. We will cover what they have announced. We'll cover to some level what they have announced they're going to talk about, or games that we know are coming out this year that they will probably highlight. But we want to focus more on what we predict and what we expect and what we're excited could be possibly announced. So it's more, this is way more of a speculative kind of thing. So I think that's all the housekeeping. Good Lord. 10 minutes of housekeeping and beer.
Yes, it's fantastic. So E3, what it looks like for 2021 is it's going to run from June 12th through the 15th. Yes. And every single day there's going to be, it's all virtual, which is kind of weird. It's the first time this has happened where it's all virtual, which is, the precedent has been set by last year's Summer Game Fest and Summer of Games, both IGN and Jeff Keighley. Now we have what we expect to be an onslaught of presentations and keynote speeches that are all broadcast live across the internet, so where everyone's seeing this for the first time together. So it's kind of unique. Instead of people being there in person or having an exclusive interview that is then recorded and brought out later, it's all happening together. And we're going to be able to watch it. You'll be able to watch it. It'll be all over Twitch. We'll be covering it as it happens, going through the things that are actually announced. But just set your calendars, June 12th through the 15th. It is like the week of gaming. It's my favorite week of the summer every single year. I am glued to the TVs and video cameras or screens, whatever you want to call it. And I am like tuned in. So we'll start with our absences. Let's jump in. So we're going to start with
who's missing.
Who's not here.
Yeah, who's notably said that they're not going to be there, or maybe not said they're not going to be there, but notably have not been announced that they're going to be there. And this late into the game, it'd be a big deal. So, and one final disclaimer, everything we say here today has been recorded a month before E3. So, in that month, some of this information could change. So, when you're listening to this, might be a little bit different. That's okay. Again, this is a little different for us this year too. So, anyways, but yes, who is notably absent from the announced E3 participants?
Well, we have EA, Sony, and Konami. Konami was actually confirmed to be a partner and a participant, but then backed out. So we don't know what's going on over there. At least I don't know what's going on over there. But EA typically does their own EA Play show separately. So they're probably going to do that again with a different host and a run through of a bunch of games.
Did they do it last
year? Same with Sony. They
did
EA Play. They did. Yep. And they did one the year before that even. Greg Miller hosted it.
But they did it at E3 the year before.
They did.
They were a part of E3. So this is notable that they're not affiliating themselves with E3. That's interesting.
It is.
Sony backed out 2 years ago before the pandemic even happened. Sony's first E3 without Sony was in 2019, and then of course they said they're just going to do their own thing last year. That was the year with all the hype leading up to the PS5. Oh my gosh, it's been a crazy 2 years without Sony, and they've still been carrying their own weight. Completely unaffiliated with E3 at this point. So we expect that they will probably do something this week. That's my prediction. With Sony, I expect they will probably still have announcements. Do you want to do a quick kind of rundown as to what you expect Sony to announce, or like how that will look? And do you expect it will be the week of E3, or do you think that they'll wait for some of the heat to die down and then come out with their own thing?
So it's interesting because we'll get into some of the Sony exclusives from things like Bethesda and other third-party like partners, like Square Enix has some PlayStation stuff coming. So I imagine their state of play, or whatever they're going to call it, is going to be focused on the exclusives for that console. And of course, we're going to get updates on God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn and Gran Turismo 7, maybe Final Fantasy 16. But those, again, are like the third-party stuff, which we'll do later. So like as for like new hype, new announcements, I'd like to think that we're going to get a glimpse into the whole Last of Us remake part 1 and 2 from Naughty Dog that we had covered in the news. So that would be kind of cool to see like some initial footage of that. But I'm kind of drawing blanks for like maybe a hype moment would be like Spider-Man 2 is coming up after Ratchet and Clank for Insomniac Games' next game.
I can see Insomniac building hype we already saw Sony lay the foundation of Sunset Overdrive trademark. We talked about that in our news show this week. I could see them at least coming out and being like Sunset Overdrive coming to PlayStation
today.
Plus.
Announced
today. Right.
Like
yeah,
Shadow
exactly.
Drop. That'd be awesome.
So I mean, Insomniac has been busy AF with Rift Apart coming out and with Miles Morales and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, I could see them doing stuff like that, something like that. But yeah, no, I agree. Horizon Forbidden West and God of War will probably be the focus of whatever event Sony does this summer.
Yep. And it would be cool if there really is a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima or whatever Sucker Punch is doing. I would like to hear what they're doing. Maybe an Infamous 4 would be dope.
I imagine they're going to do Ghost of Tsushima
4.
2 before they do 4, but I still think it's a little too soon for any kind of announcement on that.
I mean, Ghost of Tsushima's been out for a while. What are they working on? Come on.
I mean, Ghost of Tsushima is a big game. If they do a sequel, it's going to be bigger, right? So, cool. All right. And then unless there's any other thoughts on Sony, I want to talk real quick about why you think Konami backed out and what you think they may be doing on their own.
There was news this year earlier that Konami kind of wasn't making any games and that they were focusing on like gambling machines in Japan. And so we wonder if they're even making anything or what's going on. They still hold the IP for games like Silent Hill and Castlevania and Metal Gear, even though Hideo Kojima is not a part of Konami anymore. They still have Metal Gear. So who knows? Like, maybe they had some announcements that came in that they were planning on doing, but COVID kind of wrecked their plans, and then they just weren't ready to show whatever it was. Like, maybe they are making some stuff, and we just haven't announced it yet. They haven't announced it yet. So I'm guessing whatever it was, they were just like, we're not going to be ready. We're not going to have time to put it together and show something meaningful.
I want to pretend like this is a hype thing, like they're going to do their own event and then show off what they're Konami's comeback. You know what I mean? I want Konami's big comeback. But
Contra,
you're probably right.
Castlevania, reboot them all, like throw them all out.
Right.
There. Let's go.
Castlevania in the style of Dark Souls. Give it to me. But yeah, I suspect that you're probably right. They're just they may be working on those things, but they're not ready to show anything because they decided to take the last half of the decade off. Cool, awesome. Well, then that is all we'll talk about in regards to the absentees. So now we're going to talk about the first and biggest partner that E3 still has, arguably, and that is of the big three. We've got, as always, every year, we get a nice big Xbox showcase. Microsoft's going to have a big stage. I don't know if they're going to have a stage this year, but they're going to have their event, and it's going to be the tent pole, the tent pillar of E3. And even if you don't care about, like, even if you're not an Xbox person, you're going to want to watch this show because there's going to be plenty of, like, this is where almost all the, like, mid to AA to low AAA third-party developers announce their stuff almost every year, like clockwork. Sony always focuses on their own first-party stuff. Xbox is the one where they bring in all the third-party developers. So that's probably going to happen this year. So let's talk about some of the things that we expect, that have been announced, that we expect will be talked about. And then we'll talk about some hype possible, what could be talked about.
But yeah, the biggest deal this year is their acquisition of Bethesda. And so that's going to change everything. And they've announced that Bethesda is going to get their own, so in the past, Bethesda has their own event.
Yep.
So this time, Bethesda still kind of will, but it will be next to Xbox, but separate. So all of the Bethesda announcements will be together, like in one go, but it's going to be a part of the Microsoft stuff.
Cool. So we'll treat that at the end like its own separate thing.
Yep. So we'll get to Bethesda in a moment. But we also know that over the last generation of stuff, my Xbox has been pushing Game Pass. They bought 13 studios and assigned all of them big projects, and we know most of those that have not come out yet. But the biggest obvious thing here from those studios is 345 Studios Halo Infinite. We know it showed poorly earlier or last year, and they delayed it. It was supposed to come out in the fall of last year, and they pushed it.
A launch game.
Yep. It was supposed to come out in November as a launch. Mm-hmm. Yes, it was going to be like the first time Halo's come out with with Xbox ever
since Combat Evolved, since Halo, since the first one. Yeah,
nuts. Yep. And it was hype moment. It was awesome. They really did. And it was a big misstep, and the game did not show as well as they had hoped, and so they delayed it. And now we're probably going to get a massive update to Halo Infinite. I assume that's going to take up. There's probably going to be a massive gameplay demonstration. More than likely,
I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. I want to see what they spent. I as much as it would have been hype to have Halo as a launch game, if it sucked, then that would have been devastating for them. So give me this Halo the way it was meant to be given. Microsoft, cool. All right. Hopefully, we'll see something about Avowed, Obsidian's new game. Takes place in the Pillars of Eternity universe, but it has a first-person perspective and looks to be a Skyrim type competitor. And its initial showing was great, although the only thing we've seen of it is like literally the first-person view. It's just like they had a character, like they had a cinematic, and then it was like they dropped you into the first-person view, almost as if it was the start of the game, and then nothing. So hopefully we'll see some gameplay. Hopefully we'll see they'll have developers talk about it, something new beyond hopefully beyond just a trailer to see what Obsidian's working on. So
same with Fable. Playground Games that has made Forza Horizon is making a new Fable title, and all we got was like a title. And that
We
was
got a
some
title
music.
and a trailer. Yep.
Yeah.
A title and a cinematic, not even that.
Yeah, it was like a
exactly.
teaser. So I want to see
Right,
some
right.
Fable. I want to know more details. I really hope they show more of it.
Yes. Cool.
Speaking of Forza developer, there is Forza Motorsport, self-titled with no number on the end of it from Turn 10. That has been shown off, so maybe there'll be an update there. And there's a lot of rumors of Forza Horizon 5 coming out this year.
Ooh,
and so I wonder if that'll be a shadow drop moment. That would be awesome.
Is that an announced game? Forza Horizon 5 is announced?
Not even like officially. There hasn't been any trailers
so
or
this is
footage,
hype.
but
That's a hype.
yeah.
Note. That's like a you're predicting that it's going to be talked about and possibly even shadow dropped.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
Cool. Undead Labs is working on State of Decay 3. That's confirmed, right?
Yeah.
Or do you expect? Okay, awesome.
No, it's announced.
So
yeah,
cool, awesome. I kind of wish we had notes going through here. What we think is it's okay.
No, I have question marks for things that are not.
Oh, perfect.
You're covered. Yep.
Cool. All right. Rare has their game Everwild that's coming out. I always get Everwild and Kena Bridge of Spirits confused. They're two very different games.
Very similar.
We haven't. I think all we've seen is like cinematic footage of Everwild at this point. So who knows what kind of game that's going to be?
There was a speculation that there was 4 different main characters shown, implying like 4-player co-op.
4-player co-op.
And Sea of Thieves is very co-op stuff from Rare, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Cool. So hopefully we'll see more of that. Psychonauts 2 by Double Fine. That is first part. That is Xbox Studio, right?
These are all Xbox Studios. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Unless otherwise noted.
Yep. Cool. And then Hellblade 2 by Ninja Theory, Senua's Saga, and
Thank you. I could not remember for the life of me what the name of this title was. And so Hellblade 2 is shown off already, a cinematic trailer showcasing the Series X's graphical power. So hopefully we'll see more of that.
Gameplay. Show me some gameplay, because that game had sick gameplay, and I will get Xbox. I don't even know if I'll get Xbox Game Pass for it, but I will definitely get it for my PC. I think my PC can handle it now. So cool. And then they're also working on Project Mara that was announced. Sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't.
It was a teaser kind of game. It's like a demo almost. It has PT vibes to it, but it has to do with like mental illness awareness, and it's very scary and creepy. And it's just a small like experience, not really a full blown title.
All right.
So
Perfect Dark by a new studio, The Initiative, that was formed in 2018. They're working on a new Perfect Dark for Microsoft. That was announced at the Game Awards this year, I think, if I'm correct.
It was.
And so hopefully we'll see gameplay, more of that. Gameplay, please.
Gameplay.
I know, there's a lot of these that Microsoft owes some gameplay. Age of Empires 4 by a developer, World's Edge. Is that confirmed, or do you think that's just
That's confirmed.
Cool. Awesome. Yep. Sweet. Cool. Awesome. Do you want to take the next one?
Sure. There's actually the next couple I'll just address here. The next 3 studios, Compulsion, The Coalition, and In Exile, are all studios for Xbox that don't have actually announced titled games. So I'm expecting this is where you're going to see a lot of world exclusive and like crazy effects happening and like get hype moments like for the first time you see it here at E3. And Compulsion Games is working on a third-person action adventure game, and it is a new IP.
Awesome.
Compulsion worked on We Happy Few, and they're done, wrapped up, over with. The Coalition is working on a rumored Disney game, which was not Star Wars, confirmed. They came out on Reddit. The developer said, squash those rumors now. It is not a Star Wars game. So that's I'm sorry, they're not working on that. Period. There's no Disney game. I misspoke. There's no Disney game. There's no Star Wars game.
Okay.
What they are working on is an Unreal 5 side project that has to do with maybe the Gears 5 engine and what the future of Gears is going to be. So I don't think it's a Gears 6 announcement. At least it doesn't sound like it. But Unreal 5 related. So who knows what they'll have. In Exile Entertainment, they made Wasteland 3, and they're working on a new first-person RPG. So that's completely new IP, and it's a first-person shooter RPG. So who knows? It could be Outriders or Borderlands. Don't know. So that's pretty cool.
First-person RPG would be closer to Borderlands or Destiny or something like that. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's a looter shooter. It could be.
That's true.
Yeah, Ghostwire, I think, is technically an RPG, but it's not looter. I don't think. I don't know. We'll see about Ghostwire.
There's nothing about looter in their announcement here. It's just job listings is all we have to go by. So
first-person RPG.
So we don't know. That'd be awesome to see some new IP and some new games that we've never seen or heard of before. So those 3 I'm excited about. And then Xbox Game Studios Publishing. It is confusing. the Xbox Game Studios umbrella has 13 or 15 studios under it. One of those studios is also called Xbox Game Studios Publishing. It's strange. They have a new unannounced AAA open world game that they've talked about, but it's not announced, so we don't know what it is. And maybe it's a Horizon killer type of open world, competitor. Cool. So that should be fun. Like, I can't wait to hear.
That's a lot. Yeah. That's just the first party stuff. What do you think? I wanted to spend a little bit of time. Xbox is probably going to be the biggest, the longest, because it is a lot the biggest. Yep. Do you think that any third party announcements are going to be made? My biggest prediction for Xbox third party here is if Bandai Namco doesn't have their own event, which I don't think they've confirmed that they do.
They do. They will.
Do? Are you sure?
Mm-hmm. Scroll all the way down in my notes. I have it all listed.
Because there was something about like there was a list that went around that was a copy pasta from last year's list, or the year that it was canceled, and so Bandai Namco had been confirmed in a previous year, but I thought they weren't confirmed this year. But if they have confirmed, then either way, I can still see them doing the Elden Ring announcement at
I can see that
Microsoft.
Too.
I can totally see that because I'm pretty sure it was announced. No, I guess it was the Game Awards it was announced at, but that's still a third-party thing. Like, it was still different. So I can totally see them going with the big gameplay trailer from software, Bandai Namco, and then go into a deeper dive or something like that at their own event. I could totally see that happening. Is there any other third-party? You think that anything else?
If there's anything from Square Enix that's not covered by Sony, they could probably make that announcement here as well.
Oh, they could do Final Fantasy. Maybe Final Fantasy 7 Remake announced for
maybe, but
Xbox.
I know Square Enix has done their own shows in the past, and I don't know if it's confirmed that Square Enix is doing their own show. Same with Bandai Namco. They're confirmed that they're going to be there involved, but not that they're getting their own showcase.
Right. Okay, so that could be it. They could be in both those companies, or either of those companies could be involved directly with, or could be involved by having their stuff at the Xbox. So that would be, I mean, if Square Enix wanted to announce that officially, because they've hinted that, I mean, they, originally Final Fantasy 7 Remake was a timed exclusive for Sony. So the implication there being that it's coming to other platforms. The only one that I think it's confirmed for right now is PC, coming to Steam or something like that. So it would be pretty hype if they decided to, this would be the showcase to do it when doing it with Xbox, is to announce that, Remake is coming to Xbox. But
I know, okay, you can see what
I was going to say. Sorry, I was going to change gears here. Change gears and say I don't know if Gearbox has their own event or not, but I can see Gearbox doing announcements at the Xbox showcase as well. Especially anything that's not necessarily a Borderlands related thing. I don't think we're going to get anything on Borderlands 4. It's a little too early for that still, I think. But Gearbox has said they're working on 4 different games now, so I could see them. THQ Nordic, I could see them doing announcements at Xbox's showcase.
Yeah, but THQ Nordic owns 80 studios, so it's there's a whole umbrella of that
right, but nuts. Any one of those studios could announce anything here, I think. So I think that's all fair game. Yeah,
like Biomutant, is that a PlayStation exclusive? I wonder. Nope, maybe they could get a presentation here as well.
Well, but it'll be out. Biomutant will be out by the time E3 happens. It's coming out May 25th. It's right around the corner.
Oh, it is. Wow, look at that.
I got an update from Amazon saying that my order that I ordered back in 2017 is now finally got an updated shipping time. So
nice.
I will hopefully be getting Biomutant day one.
That's awesome. I know Don't Nod with Life is Strange usually has something to show, and I don't know what they're going to do this year, if they have any more Life is Strange for us or not. And other indie titles, because of the ID at Xbox branding, Xbox funds indie studios, so we always get indie stuff, and that's impossible to predict because those indie games get turned around so quickly, and we don't have time to announce and hype and project them. So expect a lot of cool new IP, especially Compulsion, Coalition, and Exile, and Xbox Game Studios. That's 3 big, massive internal new IP announcements, and then all of the indies. So expect a lot of world exclusive. Constantly, pretty much throughout their entire
probably throughout the whole thing. Cool.
Let's talk about Bethesda.
Yeah, pivot. Let's pivot to Bethesda. So this is still technically under the umbrella of Xbox, but it's its own thing because even though they're owned by Xbox, they are still big enough that they get their own thing. So all the Bethesda stuff. Let's hit it up. What do we know is going to be there?
we know Arcane Studios is making Deathloop, and they've been hyping Deathloop like crazy, so why wouldn't they throw in another Deathloop? Like, I see, like, we've all seen too much of Deathloop, so it's going to happen. It's just going to be there. Obviously, their biggest title, their elephant in the room, is Starfield. It is very, very much rumored to be shown off at E3.
Yeah, there were some leaks or something, some kind of leaked stuff, some images or whatever. So do you think it's going to happen? You think it's for real?
Yeah, we're going to get Starfield something. It could be a trailer that's just, like, tonal in nature and not really showing any gameplay. It'll be some update to us. Hopefully they'll reveal what platform it is, because since Microsoft acquired Bethesda, everyone's like, is Starfield going to be an Xbox exclusive or not? So I'd like to have that answer. But if you remember, Indiana Jones was just announced.
Prediction. Timed exclusive.
Ooh.
I think they're gonna bite Sony that way in the way that Sony's been biting them. I don't think it's going to be 100% exclusive, because they know how big of a deal, but they're also going to be like, times exclusive. Suck it, Sony.
Yep. You get Final Fantasy 7, we got Starfield.
Yeah. You get Final Fantasy 16, Starfield.
Yep.
Elder Scrolls 6. All that stuff. Yep. Cool.
Don't forget that they announced they're working on an Indiana Jones game.
Yes.
And I feel like, so Elder Scrolls 6 is like a giant mountain of a game. Indiana Jones is probably like a small hill, so I think there'll be a quicker turnaround and a quicker development time on Indiana Jones, so they might have more to speak about Indiana Jones than they would Elder Scrolls 6.
Elder Scrolls 6, sorry Elder Scrolls fans, you guys aren't getting a game until mid-gen. Like, you'll get one. 2025, Elder Scrolls 6. Penguin's predicting it here. If it happens before then, I'm happy to be wrong. If it happens after then, I'm wrong, even wronger, but like 2025 earliest.
Yep. I don't even remember when that was announced. I feel like it was like 2018 or something. It's just not
too
even
soon.
close.
It was announced
way too soon.
Way too soon. Period.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. But they get so much crap over Skyrim. They get so much crap over like all they do with the Elder Scrolls franchise. Skyrim. Sorry. Side note.
That's true. And so here's
Tokyo.
Ghostwire Tokyo. Thank you. So we have MLB The Show on Game Pass. When you fire up MLB The Show, the very first thing you see is the PlayStation Studios logo, like entry, like opening. Then you see the Xbox stuff, and then it's very awkward because you're on an Xbox platform. Ghostwire Tokyo was announced for PlayStation. It's a PlayStation 5 game, but it's made by Bethesda. So is it
really exclusive to PS5?
Yeah. Yes. And so, like, is it going to be shown here, or is it going to be maybe that game would be showed off in the Sony?
Is going to make them put the Xbox logo.
Wouldn't that be funny?
It's going to be Bethesda, Xbox Game Studios.
Yeah.
It's just in partnership with Sony Entertainment or something like that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Crazy. What a crazy world we live in. But yeah, Ghostwire Tokyo. I really hope they show it. I hope it's here somewhere in the week. They've shown
gameplay and it looks awesome. It's like a spell casting first-person shooter with ghosts. It's highly stylized. Like, I want this game with the pedigree of Bethesda. I want this game to be amazing. It's coming out this fall. I am hyped about it. So show off more, talk about it, highlight it. It should be up there with. It should be at least as focused this summer as Deathloop has been. Like, it needs to have as much hype built around it personally. So cool.
And I think with the success of games like Returnal, and then there's another exclusive game for Sony coming from Square Enix, I believe. Nope, I saw it today. Where'd it go? It is from Capcom, the makers of Lost Planet. It is called Pragmata, which was the astronaut floating in New York City, Times Square, and then, like, remember that weird trailer that it was all, like, in-engine? Am I ringing any bells?
Yeah,
astronaut.
Okay,
yeah, that
right.
game.
Yeah,
thank you.
Very vague,
so,
yeah.
Returnal and Pragmata is, like, setting this weird tonal thing with, like, space and astronauts and things, and I just feel like Ghostwire Tokyo kind of fits in that same vibe, and it's a strange direction.
It's at least kind of close to, like, it's somewhere there between there and Control.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. So
yeah,
anyway,
but it's got magic and ghosts. I don't know. Yeah. Sounds awesome.
So hype moments, things that are not here on our notes that you might be extremely excited about seeing from Microsoft. What would they be?
Just from like Bethesda,
boom. From Bethesda or Microsoft. We're wrapping up both.
Okay. Well, we already talked a little bit about Microsoft, but I mean, you have written there. I'm going to steal it. A new Doom would be. Like, I mean, I still think it's a little too soon. Doom Eternal just came out a little over a year ago. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
2 years. Last year. So,
Yeah.
but if they even showed off something, I would be like killer hype if they showed off a trailer. It was clearly the Doom guy armor, but a woman.
Ooh,
Doom gal. A Doom gal action, because I think they're killing off the existing Slayer. They're killing him off in one of the DLCs or something like that.
Really?
For Doom Eternal? Yeah, I think he's canonically he's gonna die, so they're gonna need someone to replace him. It'd be awesome if it was just like the Doom Slayer's armor, but a chick. I'm like, yeah, give it to me.
That'd be
gal.
Sweet.
Give me that.
Maybe
Doom
she
gal.
she steps on Doom guy's body and like rips his armor off, and then like goes immediately into slaying demons. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, but
like
that's all that we would need is just a trailer of Doom gal, and then like maybe a title, but not even necessarily that. Just a new Doom or like a new start for Doom or something like that, and 2023 or something like that, 2024. Like I'm into it.
Closing out the new Doom trilogy, which would be Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, and then whatever this one's called.
Or like, I don't know, a new era begins, a new era of Doom begins, or something like that, because it would be like a new start for them. Yeah, so
that'd be great. Cool. I would love to see, in my hype moment, it's not actually on my notes, it would be Quake. Take a break from Doom and go into Quake. We haven't seen a new Quake since Enemy Territories Quake Wars on PC, and prior to that was Quake 4. Quake 4's story and like cinematic were amazing. And I remember it like creeped me out. I had nightmares. It was scary, but it was still had that feel of like a little bit faster pace than Doom, especially Doom 3 at the time. So I would love to see what they could do a little differently than. So with Doom, we have this whole like dance combat style where you have to rotate between all these different weapons. It's very in your face and high pump energy. It'd be cool if they kind of went the opposite direction than they have in the past and like make Quake a little bit more scary, more along the lines of Prey. Oh, that'd be sweet. I would love to see a new Quake. So if they announced that, that would be my get hype moment from Bethesda. That'd be awesome.
Yep, cool.
Now we get to talk about our next darling, the best video game publisher in the world.
Okay, so you don't want to talk about Fallout?
History.
You don't want to close out the loop there?
That would have been a really cool like hype moment if there's Fallout 5 officially announced, or but because they're supporting 76 so much, they probably don't want to continue like to get into each, what do you call it? Like, thank you, cannibalize themselves when they're trying to really pump up 76. So maybe we get like a next gen patch for PS5 in Fallout 76, which I would be extremely excited for.
I think the Fallout fans would be super disappointed if the franchise ends with 76.
No, it wouldn't end. It's just not ready yet. Not with Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 announced, and still hanging on to Fallout through the 76.
I could see them doing Fallout after Elder Scrolls 6. Yeah,
right.
In fact, Elder Scrolls fans will start to murder people if they don't. Right. If they were to push out another Fallout game before ES6, then yeah.
Or we could get crazy and Compulsion Games, who did We Happy Few, gets assigned Fallout, and that's announced. Because they're now all under the Microsoft umbrella. It's like a big business move and something crazy. Fallout 5, developed by the Coalition.
Both
with
Obsidian.
Obsidian,
yeah. I was going to say Obsidian and Bethesda are now once again like under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Right?
Wow.
So they can cross-pollinate all their talent and like all of their people and make something happen. So who knows? Maybe we would.
Microsoft is double dipping. Microsoft is dipping out of the Avowed and the Elder Scrolls. They're totally double dipping out of those fandoms. Crazy. Yep. All right, cool. All right, that's it with Xbox. Yeah, that's all we expect. So, like you said, let's talk about the darling. Let's talk about 80-bit bod smashes. I don't know. Is it our favorite? Is it our combined favorite? I think it's probably our combined favorite.
It's my favorite single video game publisher in the world.
Like single video game entity. Of course, we're talking about Nintendo. Foundational for us. So Nintendo is going to have an event. It will 99.99% chance it takes the form of a Nintendo Direct that is aired during this weekend.
This single Direct could make E3 2021 an amazing, hype, crazy E3.
But if and only
for the record books.
I mean, Nintendo solely has responsibility for at least 2, maybe even 3 of their own Elden Rings, in the sense that they have 3 games that we have heard nothing about aside from the initial announcement 2 to 3 years ago. Yep. And so those 3 games are Metroid effing Prime 4.
Yes.
Nothing. It's empty. It's silence.
Ah!
Even the Elden Ring community admits that the Metroid Prime community has been waiting for longer than they have.
A little context about Metroid Prime 4. Retro Studios took over development in just 2019 from scratch.
Right.
So all the development work, they announced it in like 2016 or 17. It's been years. It has been so long. And we know it's only 2 years in development. It's nowhere near ready to go if they started over legitimately. Also,
can you imagine, real quick, side note?
Yeah.
What if Metroid Prime 4 did a like Returnal style third person shooter perspective?
Oh, it'd be awesome. Oh my gosh. It would be a new direction for Metroid,
doesn't even have to be roguelike. It could just be it could be a
fast-paced action over the shoulder, exactly like how Returnal feels. But and it would it would match the original perfect. 2D platforming nature of the original Metroids and marry that with the first-person shooter nature of Metroid Prime with the exploration and
100% not gonna happen.
It could though, because Nintendo is always pushing an envelope. Nintendo never wants to re-release an entry in a franchise that's the same as the old one. They constantly innovate. They push it so hard.
Yeah.
I bet you just predicted exactly what Metroid Prime 4 is going to be. They even tried that weird, like, top-down 3D kind of, but like 2.5D Metroid Other M for the Wii, which flopped.
Oh, yeah.
They always go in different directions.
Sure. That's
no,
awesome.
We're not. Sorry, T-Bone just chimed in our chat, and so this would be a first chime in. He says, personally, he wouldn't like it, not a fan of roguelike games. We were talking about the style and mechanics of Returnal, not roguelike nature. Right, I hope I'm with you. I don't want Metroid to be a roguelike either.
No, not roguelike, but the moment-to-moment gameplay. If you took the roguelike elements out of Returnal, it would be a Metroid spin-off, like one could argue. Like, because it has all that exploration, it has all that like get the item and then go back and find the thing. Like for all intents and purposes, Returnal is a Metroid game in everything but name. And with roguelike elements.
Yeah.
Right. So take the roguelike elements out, you have Metroid Prime 4 right there. So just put Samus skin on Selene and we're good. We're
done. It's it. I'm in.
Prime 4.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So there was also some news regarding Metroid Prime. There's this rumored like trilogy, Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 being ported to the Switch. And one of the developers from Retro had come out and said regarding Metroid Prime 3 to undo the motion aiming controls back to joystick controls is a Herculean task, and they don't have the code base to do it, so they would have to like re-engineer the game again, and it's highly unlikely that that's ever going to happen. So it was a big disprove, like shot in the gut, a big gut check for like, if there's a Metroid Prime 1 and 2, they could pull the GameCube code, which is a dual stick shooter, and port that to the Switch relatively easy, but that Metroid Prime 3 that was developed from the ground up as a point with the Wiimote shooter, not so easy. So probably not going to happen.
Could they port it with the motion controls?
Yeah, and maybe
the Switch. The Switch has motion controls. The Switch has arguably better motion controls than the Wii. So, in my opinion, like just do that. I will take that. I will accept that. You know,
they did it with Skyward Sword, right? They just mapped the motion to the right joystick. So. Yeah, I'm excited. Who knows? I mean, I put any other Metroid-related news here as kind of a hype thing. Maybe it would be really, really cool if they threw more Metroid titles and like ported some old ones, or maybe did a remaster or remake of Metroid Prime 1 and put that on the Switch. That would be pretty sweet. But I just want to see something. Like, give us some Metroid. I want to see Metroid.
Yep, exactly. So, of the other Nintendo Elden Rings out there is Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta 3 was announced at I believe it was one of the it wasn't E3, it was at one of the Game Awards, I think. And all it was shown off was a trailer, a cinematic trailer, and that's all we've seen from Bayonetta 3. Platinum Games working on it. So yeah, hopefully we see some Bayonetta 3. Yep,
it was announced at the Game Awards in 2017. So going on 4 years now.
Ooh, yeah. It's it's another Elden Ring. So hopefully we'll see that something from that. Any update at all, even if it's just like, hey guys, it's gonna take longer. I think that's the last we heard is from Hideki Kamiya or whatever who works on that franchise. He was like, it's gonna be a while. But that was even like a year ago. So give us some kind of update. And then of course there's the big one. The other big Elden Ring of Nintendo is Breath of the Wild 2. It was announced.
Yeah.
It's not been as long, but it was definitely announced back in like 2019, I think, and we haven't seen anything from it since, other than just like, again, a brief cinematic trailer. So at least we have like cinematics for it, but it's no title. So it's been a while. It's been long enough for something Zelda that like we're expecting something this E3 for a next year or even 2023 release.
It'd be awesome. So we know at the beginning of the Skyward Sword announcement direct, we saw Aonuma himself say, "We know you're excited about a Zelda game. Development's going wonderfully, or progressing normally, or whatever he said." And so we were all like, "Nah, there's not Breath of the Wild 2." But then we got Skyward Sword HD. Yeah. But this is the 35th anniversary of Zelda.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if we're going to get Hype Moment, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess ports off of the HD versions from Wii U. Oh, that would be awesome.
I want an Ocarina of... Sorry, I hope that wasn't too loud. I want Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask as well. Give me... I know they're probably not going to do a bundle. I know, like...
Not with Skyward Sword.
That was Skyward Sword, right? So, but I just want, like, I want to... I love Ocarina of Time. I love Majora's Mask. I hate having to drag out my N64 to play that. I do. So if you put it on there, I'll pay premium price. I will pay $50. I will pay $100 for a Wind Waker Twilight Princess combo pack and separately a Ocarina of Time Majora's Mask pack. Like just give me all the Zelda games. I want all the Zelda games on my Switch. All of them.
That would be great. So Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask were ported to the 3DS and kind of redone with their graphics and motion controls already. So if we could port those over, that'd be great. Yeah, but I'm going to give you a more realistic possibility. Grezzo made Link's Awakening remake, and they haven't done anything since. Link's Awakening remake has done very well, and it was received well. So what about an Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons remake to go with it? Oh, blow my mind. I would lose it. This Nintendo Direct, if these Zelda things happen, I'm just gonna lose it. Like, especially if we're doing a live reacts on the camera, I'm just gonna like fall over. I'm just gone. Like termites.
You're gonna weep uncontrollably. I'll be weeping there with you.
It's gonna be amazing.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. So all the Zelda. I don't expect half of that. Of all of those things, ironically, of all of those things, the most likely is news on Breath of the Wild 2. Yeah. Probably nothing more than just a title and maybe another trailer. That's probably all we're gonna get. Which I'm going to be fine with. I will be thrilled about. I will just be happy to stop calling it Breath of the Wild 2. Word. All right. We could probably move on. So those are the big three in regards to like we know they're announced, we know their games, we just have heard nothing from them since their original announcements. So the other possible thing that we want to talk about before we jump more into some of the more confirmed things are the Super Nintendo, a possibility of an enhanced model for the Switch. The names thrown around are the Switch Pro, and then more recently the Super Nintendo Switch.
Gosh, they got to call it that. It'd be so awesome.
It would be a good one.
It needs to be the Super Nintendo Switch.
One way or another, there is a heavy expectation from both the community and the insiders that there's going to be some kind of Switch is going to have to keep up in order to continue to garner third-party support. Nintendo is going to have to compete with the new hardware that Sony and Microsoft have put out. And so in order to do, I can already tell you, I was literally playing Luigi's Mansion earlier. And
it was yesterday.
And the load times, after I've been spoiled by my PS5. So Nintendo's going to have to do something to sort of continue to garner third-party support, and that's going to have to come in the form of hardware one way or another. The Switch will not be able to keep up.
And I'm going to tell you right now, go to twitch.tv. Nope, that's the wrong link. Go to twitter.com. Go to @Wario64 and subscribe to him now. There's a massive global supply constraint on microchips. If there is a Super Nintendo Switch announcement and pre-orders go live, you need to be the first person. If you care at all about getting one, even close to launch, you need to be on it. Yeah, and the best way to do it is Wario64. He'll provide links to every retailer the second they go live. That's how I got my PS5. That's how I got my Series X. Like, you need to be on it.
You just need to copy paste that link to me and send it to me immediately.
But that's a delay. Like, the second he posts it, it's already too late. Then there's the delay of I'm going to go into the link and secure mine first. Then I'll copy and paste the link to you. So you need to do it. You need to do it.
Okay, fine. Between that and I'm trying to get a PS5 for a friend. I need to just make a Twitter account. I think I have a Twitter account out there somewhere.
It's worth it to make a dummy Twitter account that you don't care about with a fake name, just to subscribe to him and get notifications on your phone, and for no other reason. Yeah,
it's worth it. Download Twitter on my phone. Ugh.
Yes.
All right, it's fine.
Yes.
Cool. All right. So yeah, that's a possibility. That would be a uber hype moment and would definitely like cause waves. So yep. And then so now we can move on to some of the stuff that we know is probably going to be there. Pokemon Company is more than likely going to be show off more of their 2 games that they're currently working on, which are Diamond and Pearl remakes or updates or whatever. And then of course
good.
Pokemon Legends Arceus or whatever, the open world,
the legendary Pokemon game that everyone wanted from the beginning, that everyone was actually disappointed with what Sword and Shield was because it wasn't this. Yes,
it's finally
Legends
happening.
Arceus. Yes,
yep,
it's happening.
Sure. So
we want to see more.
We will more than likely get more on both because we already saw gameplay for both of those, so we're gonna see more gameplay probably. So, Splatoon 3, we already similarly we've already seen gameplay for it. We've already seen stuff, so hopefully there'll be a big Splatoon update and get people hyped for Splatoon 3,
which is yet another plug for the Super Nintendo Switch. That's lacking in its online infrastructure and capabilities. So, like, Splatoon 3 would be a chance to showcase.
Dude, even if they just announced, even if Nintendo just announced they were doing like a revamp and actually like building servers and infrastructure for their online, that would be hype enough because Nintendo's online sucks. So, cool. We will undoubtedly be getting a Smash Fighter, at least one Smash Fighter announcement. We have 2 left, right? 10 and 11.
Yep.
So 2 left. I can see them doing both, announcing both. But probably we're just gonna get one. There's, of course, are rumors floating around out there that there will be a new Fighter Pass, a Fighter Pass 3.
Oh my gosh, I kind of don't.
Yeah, right. Like, let's just wrap it up.
Let's
wrap it up. Yep.
Yeah.
Wrap it up. All good. Yep. 10, 11.
You know what would really blow
my
mind?
Everyone. It's no matter what is announced, no matter what character they add as Fighter Pack 11, it's going to be universally hated because it's the last one. That's it.
Right.
It doesn't even if it's a beloved character, it's going to be hated because it's the last. So So,
do you think it's Crash?
I think 10 is going to be Crash, or 10 is going to be something that was previously a Sony thing.
They're the only ones that have no representation right now.
Exactly, they're the only ones with no rep. So I think 10 is probably going to be a Sony rep, and then hopefully 11 will be something equally hype. I could see them. This is the only thing I could see. I could see them doing an Echo Fighter Pass, where they like drop a bunch of Echo Fighters that are again because they haven't. They added this idea of Echo Fighters in Ultimate, but they haven't added any Echo Fighters since Ken.
Right.
Ken was the last Echo Fighter I think that they added near the end of, and he was even from the base game, so he wasn't even a DLC. So like I could see them doing like Shadow the Hedgehog as an Echo Fighter to Sonic. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these Echo Fighters that have been asked for a while. I could see them adding. Shadow's the obvious one, but yeah. So that's the only thing that's the only other Smash related thing I could see them doing.
Richter and Simon. Richter was an Echo character, and that was DLC.
Mm-hmm. No, he wasn't DLC.
So, he wasn't?
No, he was in the base game, yo.
Nice. It's funny because like all these new characters, I get confused with the announcement of Smash Ultimate in general, because we went nuts over all of it. We're so excited.
So much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Smash. So you expect there to be an Animal Crossing update?
Yeah, they're going to do something. There was leaks of code mining happening that showed the bottom half of the map doubled in size, which indicates they're going to expand the size of your map. It has a lot of implications. There's a lot of things from other games that haven't been added yet, like the barista, the whole coffee shop stuff hasn't even been put into this one. So lots of rumors, speculation are coming. So I'm sure we're going to see something from Animal Crossing. Big major update, big overhaul, new season or something. Who knows? I don't know. But I'm here for it. I love Animal Crossing and I played forever.
What are you hyped about for Nintendo? What would, like, other than the stuff we've already talked about?
I know,
we've
like, this is what I'm saying. Nintendo could single-handedly just wreck all of E3 for me, for amazing.
I don't think, but you know, here's the thing with Nintendo, and I love Nintendo, so I always feel like I have to defend them by saying that, because then here comes the criticism.
Right.
No, Nintendo Direct has ever been as hype as I've wanted it to be.
That's true. They always have a disappointment omission. A disappointing omission.
Or omissions. Almost always it's omissions. Like there's like, we want Nintendo to do something and then they don't effing do it. But the only exception to that, maybe the only exception to that, was the Everyone Is Here Nintendo Direct E3. That was like, what? That was crazy. So other than that, like, I no longer expect the moon from Nintendo, and am happy with like the sky. I guess, right? Like, is that a way of saying that? I don't know. Did I just coin a new phrase? Probably not. But
sure, why not?
So
I want to see what I would actually lose my mind about. Hype moment that's not been announced, something completely new, would be Mario Kart 9. If that's announced, I will lose it. And again, like I've already said this 8 times, so it's kind of like diminishing in its impact. But like, I don't know how else to, I don't know another hyperbolic term to use for me being so excited I just can't think or do anything else. Mario Kart 9 would be that. I would also like, way less hype for, but I would also like to see Mario Galaxy 2 ported to the Switch, you know, to go with the 3D All-Stars and have like a more cohesive set of 3D Mario games on the Switch. But a new Mario game, period. Like something that's not Mario Maker 2, because that was the last. I mean,
like it's so they announced a Breath of the Wild. So Breath of the Wild came out 2017. Mario Odyssey came out 2018.
Right.
Breath of the Wild 2 was announced in 2019, and now it's been an extra year beyond that since we've gotten anything new from us. So, you know, if they were to keep the same pace, not that they will,
right? But
if they were to keep the same pace, you would have expected that last year they would have announced the next Mario entry, and they haven't even announced it yet. So I could see the new Mario entry being announced. I would love. Here's what would make me hype. Nintendo had expressed, I think recently there was some article that Nintendo expressed interest in making new IPs. Because they've been relying on their existing IPs for so long, and so they want to start innovating and making new IPs. I would love to see a premium new IP, 3D, you know, AAA, whatever the Nintendo's equivalent of AAA is. I would love to see something new from Nintendo that is like, okay, that's a shoe-in for the next Smash character, right? Like the last time we saw anything close to that was ARMS, and ARMS wasn't great. So before ARMS, the last time we saw anything successful from Nintendo was Splatoon. And that's been a while. That was mid-decade. So like we need some new IPs from Nintendo. I would love to see them just come full force with like, this is at least one new like flagship IP would be awesome. And please, like Nintendo has been experimenting in the multiplayer space. Nintendo, I'm asking you. I'm talking to you directly. I'm talking to you, president and shareholders of Nintendo. Give me a AAA story-driven single-player game, the likes of which you used to do, but right now Sony's eating your lunch in that regard. Like, I want a Nintendo single-player game that is amazing, that is brand new, that is like paradigm shifting. Give it to me. Give it to me.
I know, and that actually brings up a whole bunch. I'm with you, and I'm just going to say this: Star Fox, Kirby, Yoshi, and F-Zero. F-Zero being a multiplayer, but all those other games, all those other IP and franchises have we don't know what's next for them,
right?
And they're all single player, and they always have been. And then of course you have the Metroid, Zelda, Mario like trifecta of amazing single player experiences.
Yeah.
And T-Bone83 again pops in with chat from Twitch, and I'm going to try to be respectful to audio listeners and read his question. Says, anyone hear about the new Donkey Kong game possibly coming out made by the creators of Mario Odyssey? I have not heard that at all.
I have not. I'm into it. I would be into it.
Retro Studios has the license for Donkey Kong. They made Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze. They were working on something since Tropical Freeze's release back in 2014 through 2019 when they were retasked with Metroid Prime 4. That's a 5-year gap. They were working on something. What was it? And it could be just that. Yeah. And I don't know if it could be the next Donkey Kong game. It could be the Donkey Kong Odyssey, Donkey Kong 64 2. Who knows? So yes, Donkey Kong is a big question mark as well. It's an untapped franchise. Yeah. Totally, but I'm with you. I want something new as well.
Yeah. But like, I think that what was nice about what you just highlighted is all of those franchises. Yes, they're ignored, but they're also all franchises that prove that Nintendo shines with single player.
They do.
Games. So
they so do.
Yeah. So cool, awesome. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about this next one because it's super, super all about what 80-Bit Pod Smash is about. So we're going to lean really heavily into the PC game show. I'm joking. PC gaming, E3 is as much a hype, exciting thing for the PC gamers out there as it is for us console gamers. Because, like, I don't know, 75 to 85% of these games are also coming out on PC.
Right.
So, like, you guys have as much to get us hyped about as we do, except for maybe the Nintendo stuff, obviously, because Nintendo doesn't put their stuff on PC. So, we are not by any means trying to minimize PC gamers when we joke about the PC gaming show. All we mean by that is PC gaming show is usually kind of a shit show. And not really something to get hyped about. So
there's never any big announcements. And in fact, like there's just a few PC exclusives left anymore to even highlight there because everything's coming to consoles now.
Exactly. Yep. So
I do want to take a moment. We've talked about the big three: Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. Mm-hmm. T-Bone just posted in chat again that he was going to share the link to his source for the Mario Odyssey developers making a new Donkey Kong game rumor on Discord. And that reminds us, we have a whole bunch of social media stuff. If you are liking what we're saying and what we're doing and how we are, we have a weekly video game podcast that drops live every single Monday. It doesn't drop live. It drops on Mondays at midnight every single week. And you can find that at 80bitpodsmash.com. That's our landing site where we have links to all of our podcast platforms, as well as our social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit. Yes, we have a subreddit. You can go in there and post a thread, talk all about E3. We would love to see it. We also have a Discord server, as T-Bone had alluded to, and that link is in all of our show notes. You can find everything there at 80bitpodsmash.com. If you are...
Idea, real quick.
I love ideas.
Penguin is ideating, and I can guarantee and count on you to follow through with my ideation.
I do that.
We are going to create an E3 2021 Discord channel so that we can talk as the announcements are happening, as the live things are happening, that we can just chat about it. You can share your thoughts with us, what you're excited about, what was announced. So that is going to happen. And maybe the channel will go away after E3 2021, but it will definitely be live during E3 2021. So, like, go to Discord, subscribe, or whatever it is, so that way you can hop in that channel when it's made, and we can talk about all this hype craziness. So
I love it. Yes, that channel will be created at some point. It's awesome. It's a great idea. You can also find us right now. We're live on Twitch for the first time ever. This is the very first live broadcasted episode of 80-Bit Pod Smash.
Oh yeah.
You can find these live events.
True. That's not true. We've done it before.
We did a live one?
We did a live one before. It was one of our anniversary episodes or something. We did a live one, but that's okay. This is close enough.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it was video. Twitch. I think we did it on Facebook Live. So this is the first Twitch one.
Oh, we did. You're correct. Wow, that was so long ago.
I know. We've been around forever.
Wow, you blew my mind. You just like dusted off some cobwebs in my brain. So this is not the very first live episode, but it's one of a few. And if you want to catch us live more often, we go live every Monday and Wednesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. we run you through the week's news in the video game industry, and Wednesday night at 8 p.m. we play a video game that we're digging, and we join in with chat and have fun, talk about the games we're digging. So you can find all of that at twitch.tv/80bitpodsmash. Subscribe to us there so you can be made aware of when we go live. We usually announce all of our live streams in advance, except for the new show, because that's a kind of a steady beat. But Wednesdays, we announce what we're going to play early on our social media platforms, which you can find once again at 80bitpodsmash.com. So it's all there. We're all over the internet. Go check us out. Click the like, subscribes, and follows, and all of those doohickeys that we do on the internet. And now we can go on with E3. What's next?
Awesome. We're going to pick up the pace because we got to blast through some of these smaller events.
Yeah, they're smaller. We'll probably go fast.
Yeah. So, cool. The next one we're going to talk about is Square Enix has been confirmed that they will be participating in E3.
You sent me a Marco Polo, like, randomly one day, all about, like, what is Square Enix going to show? They're at E3. Where did you land on that? And now I put it together. So what do you think?
I don't remember what I said.
You were just like, oh, it'd be cool if, or they have these games announced. So, yeah, Square Enix is usually one to do their own show, and I didn't put on this list some things that I'll have to remember. So, yeah, we know Final Fantasy stuff. So, Final Fantasy Remake, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Part 2. Are they going to show it?
I would. This would be another, like, make E3 moment for me, because I love Final Fantasy 7 Remake so much. Part 2 is happening. If part two is announced and confirmed some details, like they talk about what the next kind of piece of the story is going to be. Like roughly how far are we going? Because that's a big question mark. Like when they said that this is going to be the Midgar section for part 1, everybody knew roughly where that was going to end.
Yeah.
So, like, are we going up to Gold Saucer? Are we going up to Cosmo Canyon? Like, what is that next benchmark of the story going to be? And then furthermore, are they going to open up the world? Is it going to be as linear as part 1 was going to be, or is it going to be a little bit more open world? Those are questions that we have. Who's going to be in it? Obviously, we've got Intergrade, which they're going to be talking about and going to be showing off. Or maybe not. Maybe it'll be out by then.
It will, June 15th.
Okay, great. So never mind.
Which is during E3.
Yeah, exactly. So, so they're probably got some shadow drop plan then. They're probably going to be like Integrate out early or something like that. But
that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So, the next character, the next chronological character to join the party would be Yuffie, and she's in Intergrade. So clearly that was planned as part of a lead-in hype moment. So. So hopefully we'll get some part 2 news. I'd be down for it.
I'm wondering. Yep. Oh, go ahead. More than likely, what?
No, go ahead. If you're going to talk about Remake, it's more pertinent.
With Yuffie's inclusion in this, the way that they did it, Yuffie's introduction into the party at this point in the game in Final Fantasy, the original one, was kind of pointless. Like, she interacted with the party, stole like materia, and you had to do some things to get her to your party, but you didn't later get anything about her until you did the Wutai stuff.
Because she was an optional character. She wasn't written originally to be part of the core group and to have a meaningful story, because they didn't want you to miss anything if you didn't get her.
Exactly.
And that's going to change. That's now going to change because she is such a beloved character. Her and Vincent have, like, nobody plays Final Fantasy VII now and misses Yuffie and Vincent because they're so beloved. Right. So they are part of the cool, like, the whole part of what's cool about the remake as a project is, they'll be able to more deeply integrate those two characters into the story.
Exactly.
So
that's what I was getting at. And so, like, they don't need to have the interaction with Yuffie happen in the same way that happened in the original game, which means they're changing that vision. They're changing the pace of it and what they're doing. So, like, that whole Junon sequence, like, going into and running into her. Oh, and did you see the minigame? The mountain attack scene.
Fort Condor or whatever?
Yes, Fort Condor, yes. Oh, it was great. I'm so here for it, and I cannot wait to play it.
I've heard there was some news about it. Is it going to be in the Integrate?
There's a whole trailer. You didn't see it?
No, I need to go
it's gameplay.
Look.
And they showed some of the new bosses, and there's, like, people from Dirge of Cerberus in there that you fight. It looks so good. There's a whole, like, 4-minute long trailer with all new gameplay from Intergrade.
That's awesome.
So that's go look at it.
So that's going to be an Intergrade. So they don't. So obviously that's not planned as part of the event for part. I was hoping for an entire Fort Condor overhaul for part 2.
They did that.
Like that was they did it, but I was hoping that it would be something for part 2. That it was going to be, instead of being just a mini game like it was in Final Fantasy VII. I was hoping it would be this huge epic, like, centerpiece for the story, but it's not going to be. That's fine. Yeah. Now it's clearly not going to be. So what are they going to fill that time with? What are they going to fill that space with? That's the question now.
Who knows?
So because that could have been content. If that could have been huge content for part 2.
Right.
Now it's
not. They can just cut that giant swath of time out of it and replace it with whatever they're going to do. Yeah, I can see this. I can see the vision taking shape.
I'm so hyped.
I'm excited.
Anything about Final Fantasy VII Remake would be awesome. But we know for sure that we are going to get Final Fantasy news. It will be in the form of Final Fantasy VII 16. They showed off a lot of 16 already, like more than I would have expected. So we're probably going to get I would predict, this is a Penguin prediction, I predict that we're getting a release date. It may be a tentative one because, as always, COVID pushes everything back. But we're getting at least like a quarter. Like we're getting, fall 2022 or something like that, or summer 2022 is what we're getting this E3 for 16.
And they're using the same engine / assets, what looks like from Final Fantasy 14, so I can expect a quicker bit of a turnaround from Final Fantasy 15 development to this one. It's an entirely different studio with a different engine, and I think his name is Yoshida.
Yoshida.
He's the head of 14. He turned 14 around, made Realm Reborn. He's involved in 16,
he's
and
awesome.
so this has a lot of hype here, a lot of, like, return to form. Final Fantasy 15 was a great departure, and so was 13. And so, like, this is kind of like, let's go back to kind of the look feel of 11 and 12, so to speak. And I expect to see a UI, a gameplay, like demo of like some portion of the game, maybe a demo with shadow drop for like a hype moment, like they did with Final Fantasy 15. There was like 2 demos. I can see all of that happening, and of course it's a PS5 exclusive for a certain time. We don't know how long that is, but
cool.
It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
Of course, they've already announced and shown off stuff for Ever Crisis and First Soldier, which are both Final Fantasy VII mobile game spin-offs. So
one's a full Final Fantasy VII game.
Yeah,
which I'm like really interested in.
All the Final Fantasy VII games, so that'll be fun.
All like one cohesive story. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, it's probably gonna be the first mobile game I download in a long time because I'm really hyped about that too.
Yeah.
So yep, that's happening, and that will be probably shown off where they're at with all that stuff. We've already seen a lot from both those two. So, the next big thing, the next non-Final Fantasy Square Enix property that we are hyped about that will probably be shown off is formerly Project Athia, now officially Forspoken.
Yes.
We've seen gameplay, but we've only seen glimpses. So similar to what you're talking about with 16, I'm hoping for like a full blown. This is a chunk of the game. This is how spells work. This is even just giving us hints about things like where does it land on the difficulty scale? Are we talking roguelike? Are we talking Souls-like? Are we talking Devil May Cry? You know what I mean? Like it's clearly an action RPG, but what kind of action RPG? Because we have this like vast delineation here of what type of game it could be. So I'm hoping for details like that.
And what I'm really excited about here is to assuage any skeptics out there. Gary Whitta was involved in writing for this game, and he's the guy who wrote Rogue One. So if you like Rogue One, you're in for a treat because he is absolutely incredible. He also wrote the movie The Book of Eli, which was also incredible. So the fact that he's like involved in writing for this game tells me it's going to have a solid story. It's going to be awesome.
Yep, and it's got a actress. She's from I recognize her from Charlie's Angels, the new Charlie's Angels. She was in.
Oh yeah, and that whole dragon sequence was just blowing my mind. Like it was just awesome.
It's a beautiful looking game.
Yeah.
I just hope the gameplay matches the visuals in regards to what we can expect from the caliber here. So cool.
Yep.
Platinum Games was working. For those who I completely forgot about this game 100%.
It's because I haven't heard about it in forever. It was a PS4 game.
But I didn't even know they showed off gameplay. Like I watched the gameplay trailer after you brought it up. I went back and watched the gameplay trailer. I was like, oh yeah, there was even gameplay for this game. We haven't seen it forever.
December of 2019, there was a state of play that showcased the game and it had gameplay.
Yep. So the game we're talking about here is Platinum Games was working with Square Enix on a game called Babylon's Fall. It's a whatever you can expect from Platinum Games, action RPG, Devil May Cry style, hack and slash, combo combat. I know that I don't know if my voice sounds droll saying that, but I love this kind of stuff. So I'm super excited about any game that comes out like that, especially from a developer with as much caliber as Platinum and a publisher with as much caliber as Square Enix.
Yep.
I'm into this game. Hopefully, I remember it's a game. Like, they show it off, and I'm like, yes, give me this game. That's what I want from the C3. Babylon's Fall. Give me more about it. Yeah. I don't want it to go to develop, because otherwise, to me, at this point, it's risking development hell, because...
It looks really good. I just popped up the trailer again just to kind of get a feel. And it's a dude with, like, swords, and he has a sword in his hand, but he has, like, these swords that float around him, lots of particle effects, and it's super action-y, just like Bayonetta and Nier Automata, and...
Yep.
Typical Platinum game. Like you said, a combo combat game. Interesting.
Action hack and slasher. Yep.
Yeah. A couple of other smaller hits coming from Square Enix that you may or may not be familiar with. The World Ends With You was a Nintendo DS game. They're making a sequel to that called Neo. And that is coming out, I believe, on the Switch, but maybe everything. And then there's a sequel to Dying Light, which was a zombie parkour type game. It's like a massive cult following. So people are really excited about Dying Light 2. It was announced forever ago, maybe also stuck in development hell, but there's a possibility of that coming to E3 and being talked about. But then don't forget about Project Triangle Strategy, which was announced within the last couple of months.
Octopath Traveler
tactics
game. Yep. I was going to say like what if Octopath Traveler is to old like RPGs, like old Final Fantasy style RPGs. That's what Project Triangle Strategy is to like Final Fantasy Tactics, like tactical RPGs. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's
and there was a demo. There is. I guess you can still get it. I don't think it's timed on the Switch. So if you're curious at all about it, you can get that demo and check it out. But I'm guaranteeing you, there's going to be something here at E3, whether it's the Nintendo Direct showcasing it or if it's Square Enix's showcase.
They showed off like 6 minutes of this freaking game during a Nintendo Direct or something like that within the last couple months, and I was like, this is too much triangle strategy. Get it out. Get it out.
It looks so good. I want to play it.
I'm sure you're going to love it. But I'm like...
Yeah.
My son was even bored. My son was watching this Nintendo Direct with me, and he was into it. And he's a 2-year-old, and triangle strategy even bored him. I was like, I'm sorry, son. All right. So what are your hype moments for Square Enix? What would make you just poop yourself?
Crystal Dynamics. Okay, Crystal Dynamics is working on Marvel Avengers, and they're not going anywhere because this is one of those PlayStation things. They're probably going to showcase Spider-Man being added as an exclusive DLC to Marvel's Avengers, but that's what Crystal Dynamics is working on. If somehow they had enough manpower to produce a Legacy of Kain reboot or remaster or even a port.
Right, I want a remake. I want a remake of it.
Yeah, me too. I really do.
What Capcom did with Resident Evil, I want Square Enix to do with Legacy of Kain.
Yes, me too.
Gosh, yes, I would be into it. I would be sold. Give it to me. Give it to me right now. I'm into it. Yeah. You took the hype. There's nothing else that could be more hype than that, other than Final Fantasy Remake Part 2, which we already talked about. Legacy of Kain remake would be très magnifique. I suppose. No, I take it back. I suppose there are plenty of other Square Enix RPGs that I would be stoked if they did remakes on, and the one that comes to mind is a Legend of Dragoon remake in the style of Final Fantasy VII Remake, where they just overhaul the combat system and just yeah, I'd be into that too.
Yeah. Cool. And we'll that would be awesome. Legend of Dragoon has been like all over Reddit for years. Like remake this game. It's constant. It's been forever. It's almost like Skate with Skate 4. It's like almost that level of obnoxiousness. Okay, we know. We want it. I'm here for it. It's going to be awesome. But don't forget that Square Enix also published Outriders, and so if there's any DLC or expansions or any other extra content, expect that in this showcase as well. Word. And I don't think we have anything else from Square that I can think of.
Nope.
Unless you do.
No, we can move on.
All right, so now we're going to go into like more third-party stuff, and I think Ubisoft has a showcase. Yep. And this will be the last showcase that I know will be a showcase by itself. So after Ubisoft is Take-Two Interactive, Warner Brothers, Koch Media, Capcom, and Activision, Bandai Namco, Sega, and Gearbox. Though we don't know if they have their own shows or not.
Yes,
but
they
Ubisoft
could be
named theirs.
Yeah, cool.
Ubisoft is called Ubisoft Forward. It's happening on June 12th, and here we go. Here's what Ubisoft has been working on that we are aware of, and then we can talk about hype. So we know from the news that Ubisoft Massive is developing a Star Wars title, and it's going to be amazing, because this is the studio, if I do recall, that made Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs. I'm going to Google that to confirm it really quick. You talk about why it's important that Ubisoft is now making a Star Wars title and not EA.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's it. The EA had an exclusivity deal with Disney, I suppose, at that point, that existed. That was supposed to go till, I want to say, 2023. Is that correct? It was a 10-year deal that was signed in 2013. Yep. Okay, so EA was the only publisher that was supposed to make Star Wars games for 10 years. The fact that Ubisoft is making a Star Wars game is confirmation that that deal is expiring and not being renewed. Will EA still make Star Wars games? Yes, probably. 100%. We know for sure that we don't know for sure, but we have a suspicion that Respawn is working on a follow-up to Jedi Fallen Order. But the fact that Star Wars is no longer, vice gripped by EA is a big deal, and this is the first confirmed title that we know is coming out from a different developer or a different publisher. So it's going to be an open world game. So Ubisoft is known as kings of open world, even though I don't personally love all their open world games. Still, they're making a big sprawling Star Wars game of some kind, and that's exciting for a lot of reasons.
As I suspected, I was mistaken. They did not make Assassin's Creeds. Ubisoft Massive was the studio behind The Division 2, The Division 1, and Far Cry 3. They did do Assassin's Creed Revelations, but that's kind of a spin-off title. So that's their pedigree, and if they're working on Star Wars, I'm very, very happy with that because the Division 1 and 2 were extremely solid, polished games that were awesome for what they were.
Yeah.
Great Destiny competitors if you are interested in the style change between the two. But Ubisoft massive, Star Wars, give it to me.
So that's the big one. That's probably the big one that we're expecting from Ubisoft this year. I kind of want to blast through some of these other ones real quick. It's already been confirmed that Skull and Bones has been once again delayed. This game this is maybe the single most delayed game over history. It's been delayed 4 times already. That's...
And that was the ship combat pulled out of Black Flag, right?
Yeah,
and like
which is an even older game. Right. It's just like the idea of this game has been around for years and just has been tossed around forever. So
it better be great.
Thing. Yeah, it better be great. Right, exactly. That's what I at this point it needs to be great, or never again will Ubisoft do anything with fan feedback. Anyway, sorry. So some of these other games I'm going to blast them real quick, and then you can talk about any that you feel strongly about. Far Cry 6, we know is a thing. Riders Republic, Division Heartland. That's, I'm assuming, a expansion to Division 2.
No, it's a free-to-play mobile game in the Division universe.
Fair. Great. Rainbow Six stuff. It's just, I don't even want to say these words.
Rainbow Six Quarantine was renamed to Rainbow Six Parasite, but they also still make Siege, so it's probably an update. We don't know a whole lot about it.
Cool. Prince of Persia Remake is happening as a thing, and there'll probably be news about that. Beyond Good and Evil 2, and then that's all that. So do you want to talk about any of that, or do you want to talk about hype stuff from Ubisoft?
Just Far Cry 6 looks dope. I can't wait. It was already delayed once. It has the I forget his actor.
Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito, I believe.
Yes,
he's awesome.
Yeah, it looks
the eternal bad guy. Yeah.
I've been excited and kind of interested in Far Cry of the past, but 6 really has my interest. Like I might skip 4 and 5 just to jump into 6 because
Far Cry is a franchise that has eluded me. It's always been on the corner if I want to get into it, but I never have. So cool.
But hype moments, You ready?
Sure, go for it. Hit me. Hit me with your hype.
Splinter Cell comes back finally. It's been teased. Sam Fisher was in like Fortnite or something. I don't even know what. No, it was some mobile thing. They put Sam Fisher's costume in. And it's like, come on, let's go. He's coming.
Yeah.
Give us a full-blown Splinter Cell comeback. My tastes have changed as a gamer. I'm ready to go. And I'm dying to play some of the original ones, and I don't even have them. It's like, I want to play a Splinter Cell right now. So if they do that, or maybe an Assassin's Creed 1 remake, would be pretty sweet. Because like the game is ancient and it doesn't have trophies and it's outdated, so it'd be cool if they brought true back to form, Assassin's Creed 1. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'd be into an Assassin's Creed remake, using the same engine as the new games, but like you said, a return to form in regards to the new games are very different. Are ultimately very different from. They're more RPGs, more open world than the original. So like. Give me that like the feel of a new Assassin's Creed game, but with the old style of game design. And you'd have me. I'd be into it. I'd buy it. I'd get into it. I don't know. I say that with literally every Assassin's Creed game and then never do. So even Valhalla, I was like this close. I was this close to purchasing Valhalla, and I still.
I have went back and bought Origins and Odyssey. I have them on my shelf for PS4.
Never played them. Never. Yeah. Oh my gosh! See, that would bother me more than anything else. That would the only time I ever touched Assassin's Creed was Odyssey. It was Odyssey, and it was because I was testing Google Stadia.
Yeah.
Before it was Stadia. Yeah. Good stuff. So cool. I can't think of anything I'm super hyped for Ubisoft, so moving on.
Yeah, you're not really a Ubisoft gamer. No, There's really nothing in that world that you do. Watch Dogs, Far Cry, Rainbow Six,
and so
Division.
Many Watch Dogs. I want to get into Watch Dogs. I was sold on Watch Dogs Legion, and then never bought it. So many of Ubisoft's games, I'm like, I want to be into them, and I'm not. The only Ubisoft games that I'm like, I will buy day one are the South Park games. so I would. Yeah, I was gonna say.
There's your hype moment. There you go.
That's it.
Done.
That's it. I want. So South Park has already done stuff with the pandemic, but my hype South Park game would be because they've done superheroes, they've done fantasy.
Yep.
I want them to do a zombie plague because there's so many. That's a whole genre of video games. I want them to do. To lambast that next to parody that, but set it during the pandemic, and it's just the kids are playing zombies. Like it's just the coronavirus pandemic, but all the kids are like going around biting each other, trying to spread those. Like that's what I want. I want that to be the setting of a South Park game. I want to
go to Tegrity Farms.
Hyped. Yes, for Tegrity. Yeah, Tegrity Farms. Yep. So
that'd be awesome. Cool. I'm here for it. Yep.
So here's my thought. I'm willing to go a little bit over my original 90-minute mark that I told you before we started was going to be my hard. Like I will skip.
Oh yeah, you were going to walk away. We're
7 minutes. We're 7 minutes away from that, so I'm willing to go a little bit over. I'm not willing to go to 2 hours though. So here's my proposition. Since we've covered all of the confirmed shows, let's list the remaining participants and then just talk about the highlights of each one that we want to talk about. Okay. So starting with the top of this list, Take-Two Interactive is a confirmed participant. So Take-Two, Warner Brothers, Koch Media, which includes Deep Silver and Ravenscourt as developers, Capcom, Activision, Bandai Namco, Sega, and Gearbox. Those are all confirmed. So let's start at the top. Anything you are hyped about and excited about possibility for Take-Two, whether it's a game that has been announced or something speculative. Go.
We know we're getting Grand Theft Auto 5 for next gen. I want to know more about it. I have the PS4 version, and I'd love to play it on PS5 again, because I'm crazy. But it'd be cool to see like ray tracing added and some new features, and like it pretty up again. Maybe I'd take a dip into the game world again and play it. Sure. I played on PS3, and now it's on PS4. And I barely touched it, and if it's on PS5, like maybe I'll get back into it. But I would lose my mind if Grand Theft Auto 6 was announced and it was like Vice City. If it was like that 80s like Miami neon like awesome. That's the hype moment from Rockstar that I care about the most.
Grand Theft Auto 6 just needs to be Grand Theft Auto 5, but set during the pandemic.
Yeah, right.
How does the world of Grand Theft Auto change?
I mean, pandemic? So Grand Theft Auto 5 came out on the PlayStation 3 in like 2012. Right. So there was an entire administration in the White House that is ripe for satire.
Yes.
Ripe for satire. And same with the pandemic.
Set Grand Theft Auto 6 in the whatever the world's equivalent of the capital of Washington DC is.
Yeah.
During a pandemic.
Yep, that's it.
Oh my gosh, that's it. I'm sold. That's amazing. Yeah. Things that we know are coming from Take-Two are BioShock 4 is being developed by Cloud Chamber. It would be nice to at least get some confirmation of what kind of game it is and where it's taking place. Because setting and time, time is part of setting. So setting is like 95% of a BioShock game is setting. So are we going back to Rapture? Please no. Let's go somewhere new. That's what I want from BioShock.
Definitely somewhere new.
Yeah. So a confirmation of that would be great. And then Take-Two is also the publisher for Borderlands. So this is kind of shared with Gearbox, but I don't think we're at Borderlands 4 yet. It would be kind of cool to get I wouldn't expect anything more than an announcement that it's happening, but it would be cool to get I would say it would be a hype moment if they announced Borderlands 4 is officially in development. We are moving on from Borderlands 3. We are doing the next entry. That would be a cool confirmation.
Yeah, definitely. We don't need to talk about Take-Two anymore. We're good.
Cool. Awesome. Warner Bros.
Yeah. So we know, because they've already showed it off, we have Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League by Rocksteady, the makers of the Batman Arkham series, and we have Gotham Knights coming out of WB Games Montreal. So those are both Batman games we need updates on in that world, in the DC comic world. They're both kind of co-op-y multiplayer experiences, third-party action, open-world adventure type things, probably with RPG mechanics. I know Rocksteady's game is going to be awesome, so I'm really excited about Suicide Squad. Gotham Knights, I'm kind of going to hold at an arm's length, but I'm excited for E3 to actually see more about them.
Yep.
We know Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga coming out of Traveler's Tales. No. Yeah, that's the developer. I'm losing my mind. It's been delayed a bunch. It was supposed to come out last October. It's still not out yet. So that's probably going to be my return to Lego games in my fandom. I haven't really played much of a Lego game since Marvel Superheroes, which is a launch title on PS4.
Your sons are going to love them. Your sons are going to absolutely love watching that game. You're going to have a blast playing that with your kids. Yep.
Yeah, I'm really, really hyped. Actually, all of what Warner Brothers has here, I'm kind of excited about. So
yeah, I was going to say, they're low-key killing it right now. So
they really are.
Yeah.
We need an update for Hogwarts Legacy. It was also delayed from their... We saw it in...
Go into systems. We've seen the gameplay. We've seen what the combat looks like. Go into what are the systems of this game. How much of the the wizarding world are we going to see and experience? This game is not without its fair amount of controversy, but we'll save that for a future episode where we can dig into it. But yeah, no, I'm excited about this game, and I know a couple of our friends are excited about this game too. So.
And then the biggest one that I'm excited about from Warner Brothers.
I've got another person on my list that we can get. Our friend Ryan. He wants a PS5 for this game specifically. So
back for
to get one.
Back for Blood or Hogwarts Legacy?
Oh, both. I think both actually.
yeah. So Back for Blood is Turtle Rock's game coming out in October of this year for next gen consoles, probably a cross gen game. Yes. But they're the makers of Left 4 Dead, so this is the next game for them.
This is Left 4 Dead. For all intents and purposes, this is Left 4 Dead 3. This is the only Left 4 Dead 3 we're ever going to get, so get hyped about it because
I adored, loved Left 4 Dead. I played the mess out of it. It made for the best LAN party memories of my life.
I know. It's a franchise that I am kicking myself for missing out on, and I honestly I want to play 1 and 2. If I could binge 1 and 2 with you over a weekend with lots of caffeine and alcohol, then that would
they're right quick before games.
Right before Back 4 Blood came out, that would be a dream of mine. So
T-Bone be in on that.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yep.
Caffeine. All right. Cool. So, cool. Moving on from Warner Bros. I'm hyped about this lineup that we know is happening. I don't have anything that I need from them. Maybe a new entry in Shadows of Mordor. That world. Are they doing the Gollum game? We forgot about the Gollum game.
I looked that up because I thought that was Warner Brothers. It's not. It's weird. I don't know what I forgot the developers, but I've never heard of any of them. But yeah, we have Lord of the Rings Gollum coming, and I believe that's a PlayStation exclusive. I'm gonna look this up.
Precious, that's exciting.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great
got my Gollum
voice. No, it is coming to everything. Okay, so it's a third-party game. It's developed by Daedalic Entertainment and co-published by Daedalic Entertainment and Nacon, a French company. So yeah, I'm probably mispronouncing all those names, but it's third-party game.
But
that's probably going to be
so the Shadows of Mordor is more like the movie universe of Lord of the Rings. It's more in line with that. So I guess I could see them doing a. That would be the only thing that I would get even remotely hyped about. I even missed out on Shadow of War. I think I have a copy of it through PS Plus.
Yep, but we all do if you captured your games. But yeah, they that. Thank you for bringing that up. Actually, in this Warner Brothers, because Monolith Productions is the development studio behind it, and they haven't come out with anything since Shadow of War in 2017. Yeah. So we could very well see something new coming from that studio.
The next Mordor game. So cool.
Yep.
Hopefully it's not riddled with microtransactions completely ruining the experience.
So they made Fear, if you remember that first-person shooter, that was crazy good and ridiculously scary. I would love to see that come back.
Yeah,
so
I could see
forget the Shadows of War thing. Let's just go to something new.
Cool. Well, they own the Lord of the Rings property, so they might as well do something with it, So cool. All right. Koch Media, they have Deep Silver and Raven's Court. Anything here you're excited about? I'm
not particularly. No.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Moving on then. Capcom, super exciting because Capcom's been killing it recently.
Okay, Capcom needs to be. There's context here. The reason why I have so many games on this list in our notes and some are crossed off is because what's crossed off is likely not going to be talked about at E3 at all. But there was a massive leak, and everything that Capcom is going to be working on between now and Q4 of 2024, the next 3 years and 3.5 years, has been leaked. So we know it. So I use that plus what we know from other announcements to make this list of games that we're going to talk about. But like I said, the ones that are crossed out, we can talk about them if you want to, but very likely to not make an E3 appearance
for time
because they're too far out. Yeah.
Cool. So we're talking about this E3. So if we have confirmations, then let's go. Or even if it's a leak, if we have leaks,
we're just going to go off the leaks.
Yeah. We'll just blast through it. The big one that I'm excited about here is Q4 of 2022 Resident Evil 4 remake. Yes, Queen. This is one of the Resident Evil games that I missed, but if you give it to me in remake, then I will play a mess out of it and love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So
you can get the PS2 version on PS4 with trophies, I believe, on the PSN right now.
I'll take the remake. I'll wait
yeah.
for the remake at this point. Yeah, there's enough Resident Evil content to keep me happy until Resident Evil 4 comes out.
Yeah.
I've got a coworker that has already hit me up about Village, and he wants me to get it and
Village
stream it.
is so good.
And I want to catch up on Biohazard already, so I've got already 7 and 8 that I'm into, and so I've got plenty of Resident Evil
right there with you.
content to keep me busy until 4. So 4 remake. So cool.
Speaking of Resident
Evil, Lord, there's a whole mess of them. There's I'm just gonna blast through them because there's so many of them. But Resident Evil Outrage for Q4 of 2021.
That's this year.
Yeah. So Resident Evil Village multiplayer mode called Reverse, and Biohazard Apocalypse, new Resident Evil title, or Resident Evil 9 Q3 of 2023. So that is we don't know what that is necessarily.
That's like on the fence. Like I can see them teasing that with like a 9 announcement or something, but like we're not going to know anything. It's too far out. Q3 of 2023. That's way out.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about Resident Evil wise?
Just that the Resident Evil Outrage you mentioned is one of those Nintendo entries from it's the third entry in the Revelations series, which picks up from the 3DS, and so apparently that's been leaked to come out this year, the end of the year. So we're likely going to see that at E3. I'm not really I'm interested in Revelations. I never really played it, so. Yeah.
Cool. Yep. Awesome. Coming from Capcom, Dragon's Dogma 2. I didn't play 1, but like I want to go back and play 1 because I believe.
Is that the side scroll beat 'em up game?
I don't think so.
No, it's RPG.
No, it's an RPG. I think it's in the kind of vein of like Dragon Age, maybe. I don't really know, but people were talking about Dragon's Dogma, and I don't remember in what context recently. I want to say it was made by someone, like someone was involved. Do you see it? Who is the developer of it, or who is the main producer? The guy. The
main producer of the guy.
Like who's the guy? Who's the name attached to Dragon's?
Hideaki Itsuno. Itsuno is his last name. He made Devil May Cry.
He did. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So Dragon's Dogma 2 would be by that guy probably. Mm-hmm. So, cool. Onimusha. That's exciting.
Yeah, there's a new entry in the Onimusha series. It's leaked as Onimusha New York for quarter 4 of next year.
There hasn't been an Onimusha game in forever, so I'm into it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Cool. Mega Man Match, don't know what that is, but
probably a mobile game.
Probably, and that's going to be announced. And then Street Fighter 6, that we know that's happening, so that's all from Capcom. So, cool. Awesome. All right, Activision Blizzard. I don't actually expect much from Blizzard because they have their own BlizzCon.
Right.
They'll do some Diablo stuff, but
lots of Diablos. Yeah,
there's lots of Diablo 4, Diablo Immortal, and Diablo 2 Resurrected are all confirmed Diablo titles. I could see any one of them being at E3, but I don't think they're going to get much attention because they do that stuff at BlizzCon. BlizzCon was just like a couple months ago too, in February or whatever. So it's been fairly recent. So we can more or less discount the Blizzard stuff, but Activision might still do stuff. Obviously Activision's got Call of Duty's out the butt right now. So
you clearly have no interest in Call of Duty, but it's everywhere and taking over the world. And so you're just like,
I can't not say Call of Duty is like, I can't just ignore Call of Duty, but I want so badly to ignore Call of Duty. So I'll let you talk about all the COD crap out there, and I'm going to pretend like I'm drinking heavily.
Nice. So we know that there are 3 major Call of Duty developers: Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and Sledgehammer Games. It is Sledgehammer Games' turn. We know they're making a Call of Duty World War II Vanguard. That's the working title. I think that's been officially announced more than just a leak. They're going back to World War II again for a sequel because we all have, if you claim your PlayStation Plus, you have Call of Duty World War II, the first one that came out on PS4. Don't remember when, because like you said, Call of Duty's everywhere. It comes out all the time. It's all around us. It is worse than surround sound. It's everywhere. But there it is. And of course, there's a new map for Call of Duty Warzone announced called Verdansk 84. So both of those will definitely make an appearance at E3. There'll be updates and hype around all of that because it's their number one seller. It's always in the top 5 video games sold of all time.
We're over the amount of time that I wanted to spend on this episode, and I still will take the time to say if and when the AI singularity happens, it will undoubtedly be because Activision has included some kind of AI into Call of Duty, and Call of Duty will be our new god. That's it. Because it's already omnipresent. It's already everywhere. So it might as well just be God at this point. So God is your God now. All right. Sorry. I didn't even need to take time to say that, and I chose to. So.
Oh man, I did a quick Google to see how much money they make, and just their mobile is $10 billion a year. Just the mobile stuff.
Stop.
Yeah,
we'll never
insane.
be rid of that franchise.
Never.
I'm crying. Yeah. I want to cry. All right. What would you be hyped about from Activision?
I would love to see a Spyro 4. It'd be awesome.
Yes.
We saw the success with Crash 4. We know you can go back to the originals and make a brand new sequel in that IP. It'd be awesome. So Spyro 4 would be dope. Tony Hawk 1 and 2 Remake did really, really well. It was super hype, and they have the next-gen version, and they're making money on it. So I would love to see a 3 and 4. Or just a 3, because 3 was my favorite Tony Hawk of all time. So, like, I want to see more Tony Hawk games being remade, but I don't really know if it's going to happen. So those are my 2 hype moments coming out of Activision. How about you?
You said Spyro 4, and I'm hyped. I'm into it.
Got it.
Give it to me. Yep.
Cool.
Awesome. So, Bandai Namco. I obviously am excited for Elden Ring. I know you are not.
Elden what?
Could care less about Elden Ring.
So there's this ring.
We don't know. You could make up something right now, and it would be as much as the rest of us know about Elden Ring.
Do we see the next Game of Thrones book or Elden Ring first?
Elden Ring. The only thing we know about the titular Elden Ring from the story from what they've revealed is that it's not actually a ring. Like, we're not talking about Lord of the Rings ring here. We're talking about no rings. So. Anyways, obviously there was a leaked trailer, so will we see that or the next iteration of that gameplay? Anything Elden Ring at this point
it's got to be. Come on,
it's got to be just here. Like, it would simultaneously make the Elden Ring community explode in hype, and also completely ruin the Elden Ring community, because part of what makes the Elden Ring community entertaining to me right now is watching them continue to go hollow. And just become less, lose less of their community or more of their community every day. It's great.
Yeah.
It's
got to. Anyways, like, that's going to steal the show wherever that's announced. Right. It's going to be there.
Yeah. I mean, From Software games have been. I mean, Sekiro beat a list of incredible games for Game of the Year the year it came out. So, From Software has a lot of pedigree. Whether
Sekiro
you like
was
it or
also
not.
published by Bandai Namco. So there you go.
It was published
Sekiro published
Activision
Bandai Namco. Was it?
It was Activision.
No way. I don't believe
so. I think Bandai Namco did the Dark Souls games, but I don't think they did Sekiro, because I know that there's an Activision logo.
You are correct. You are right.
Yep, there's an Activision logo on my copy of Sekiro.
I stand super corrected.
Boom.
Nice.
I know
good
my
catch,
games, son.
Nice.
Anyways, so other than that from Bandai Namco, I'll let you talk about the thing that you're probably most hyped about potentially from them. The thing you
Tales
have
of Arise?
No.
Scarlet Nexus?
The only thing you have a question mark on.
Oh, a DBZ game? Yeah. Oh yeah, I am excited about it, but I'm not excited about every DBZ game because they come out with them a lot. Like Fighter Z was prior to this one, and then there was a whole bunch of like Xenoverse games and stuff. I haven't played Dragon Ball Z since like Budokai or Tenkaichi on PS2 until DBZ Kakarot came out, which I platinumed because it was incredible. Yeah. So if there's a new DBZ game in that world, I don't know what they would do, because they pretty much cover. If they did a Dragon Ball, like if they went back and did like a Dragon Ball with Kid Goku, I would lose it. I would be all about it, and I'd be extremely excited. So that's cool. But other things Bandai Namco is confirmed to have be making is Scarlet Nexus, which is coming out June 25th. So that'll be nearing release. I
saw a Eurogamer article today that was saying that the combat is not good, and that the combat's all like it's a combat game, like it's an action RPG. I've heard that the combat is confusing, overwhelming, and unbalanced, and that was from Eurogamer, and I'm like, ooh. So yikes. I will probably not be looking into Scarlet Nexus at all.
The new Tales game, Tales of Arise, has also been announced, so we'll probably get an update on that. And there's some other anime games, Digimon Survive, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, Guilty Gear, And what the Dark Pictures anthology is under that umbrella, and so that's I guess Until Dawn are some of the developers that made, and they went on to a bunch of other titles that are kind of lesser known and less popular, but all of that's under Bandai Namco, so we can expect to see all of those games sprinkled everywhere in the Xbox, Sony, and who knows what else. Yeah.
T-Bone said there's Dragon Ball and there's also Dragon Ball Super, so they could do something in the Dragon Ball Super. They could do something in that kind of part of the timeline.
They touched Dragon Ball Super in the DLC for Kakarot.
Oh,
so I don't think they would make a full game that would cover some of their DLC they've already dabbled in. Maybe they would, because it's Bandai Namco and who knows. But Dragon Ball is an untouched resource entirely.
I'm into it.
So
I'm
do
into
it.
There. Yep.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
All right. So we have Sega. Obviously, there's nothing.
One thing I want to talk about Sega.
There's two
Sonic
things
the
I want
Hedgehog.
to talk about Sega.
Oh, you want to talk about something with Sega too?
Oh,
okay.
100%.
Well, I'll take one.
Talk about Sega.
Okay, I'll talk about Sonic,
you
and you talk about the other thing, because I'm sure if you've got two and I only got one, and that one is Sonic, then I know you got something else.
No. The other shared one is Sonic. Okay. We wasted so much time. Sonic, talk to me about Sonic.
Okay,
right?
I want a sequel to Sonic Mania. That's all I was going to say. There's a sequel to the movie. The movie did really well. It's coming out. Tails and Knuckles are in the movie, and I want whatever Sonic Mania 2 there is. I want it. Sonic Mania was incredible. So that's all. That's it.
From Sonic, I would love Sega to take Sonic seriously and do like a proper Sonic 3D game. You know what I mean? Like not. You know what I mean?
Sonic
like
Adventure 3.
Something, right? Yeah, Sonic Adventure 3, or even just like a complete reboot of what Sonic is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what that looks like necessarily, but in the same way that Sonic Adventure did to Sonic, heck, what Mario 64 did to Mario, I want Sonic but I don't think that's going to happen. But obviously Sega owns Atlas, and so what I'm also hyped about is the next big project from Atlas. Whether it's Persona 6 or another Persona 5 spin-off of some kind, I'm personally just hoping we go ahead and move on to Persona 6 and hope they knock it out of the park, because Persona 5 is great, and I am now sold on that entire franchise.
I've got Persona 4 queued up on my Switch, ready to go. Can't wait.
Yeah, I want to play. Persona.
I said Switch. I meant Vita.
Vita. Okay, I was gonna say So I want whatever's next from Atlas, like Atlas proper, not just Atlas partnering with other developers. What is Atlas proper working on? Even just announce Persona 6 and give us some music or something to give us the vibe of what Persona 6 is going to be about. So cool.
Yeah.
All right, the last publisher that we'll talk about, and we'll finally be done with this long episode, 15 minutes longer than I wanted to go, but 15 minutes short of what you wanted to go, so we're going to be closer to the termite side of things.
Look at that compromise.
Gearbox, anything from Gearbox that you are excited about or hyped about?
We talked about Borderlands 4. Maybe it's a teaser, just an announcement. BL4, it's a logo or something, like something simple.
They teased Borderlands 4 in Borderlands 3. You remember that?
No.
You remember like when it was right after you beat Troy and there was a cinematic, and then your characters all died because they got attacked with rubble or whatever, and then it showed a 4 on the screen, and then it said 3, 2, 1, or continues. It said continues in 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it counted down, but it like held the 4 there for a second because it was teasing you.
I don't remember that at all. That's funny. I should.
Nice. So
yeah, anyways. I guess that's the tease. So there you go. Like let's build on that. Give us another teaser trailer with like a theme song or something. I don't know, but
sure,
that would be the most thing I care about from Gearbox. But it'd be kind of cool to see. So video game culture has changed so much since Duke Nukem, but Duke Nukem is still a thing. I would like to see a complete redo of Duke Nukem, a reimagining of what Duke Nukem is. That I don't even know if it's possible, because he's the epitome of or a caricature of toxic masculinity,
toxic
in
video
games,
game culture in general.
And toxic video game culture. So either a satirical twist, which he kind of already is, or something entirely different. But to see a representation of Duke Nukem, that's cool.
Here's what I want. Here's the only thing that I would accept. I would accept a full-blown AAA Duke Nukem game attempting to do to Duke Nukem what was done to Kratos by Santa Monica.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker. Matt Stone and Trey Parker from South Park write that game.
That would be awesome. Yeah. See, if you could have whatever you wanted. But that's impossible. That's not a prediction.
If I was
just the dream.
If I had like $1 billion, I would make that a reality.
$1 billion.
If someone gave me $1 billion and said, make the world a better place, I would have them remake Duke Nukem with that team. Anyways,
the reality is Duke Nukem is just Randy Pitchford.
Yeah. Word. Cool. All right. That it? That's it.
That's it.
E3.
That's E3.
That's
E3 2021.
So it's coming up. It's for those who are watching live. It's coming up in a month. For those who are watching or listening later, it's coming up in like a week or two, or I don't know exactly. I think it's 2 weeks from when this airs. So, get hyped, get excited. Anything that we got wrong or that we missed from, that has been announced since we recorded this, then by all means hit us up. Anything that's leaked, then by all means hit us up. We would love to post that on social media or talk about it in whatever our next episode is and talk about whatever corrections. And we will, we are excited. We are hyped for E3 and glad it's back. And I don't think there's much else that can be said. So Termite, I'll turn it over to you and you can talk about where they can interact with us if they want to share their thoughts, feelings, ideas, inspirations, whatever.
Looking at the calendar, I just realized if you're listening through our audio podcast platforms, today is Memorial Day. So have a happy Memorial Day, have a cookout with your friends, and remember those who have fought on the front lines to keep our freedoms and defend our rights in this crazy world that we live in. That's what Memorial Day is about. If you're an American, if you're not an American, I don't know what to tell you to do other than go have fun, I guess. Just live a normal life.
Consider those who have fought for your freedoms, because if you're listening to this, you probably live in some kind of free country or another, and someone fought for those freedoms either with blood or with politics, and so remember that.
That's Memorial Day, so have a good Memorial Day. And E3 will be in 12 days, so 2 weeks from the airing of this show, and you can listen to our podcast at 80bitpodsmash.com, where we have links to all of our podcasting platforms: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, etc. Wherever you are, we have our RSS feed. You can throw that into any third-party app. If we are not somewhere you want us to be, let us know. Please go to any of those platforms. If you're already there trying to find us, leave us a review. That would be awesome. It helps bubble us up in the algorithms, and we'll read your review on the show because we don't ever get reviews. So if you did one, it's going to be super awesome. You can troll us. It's a great opportunity to whatever you want to do. Heckle us, congratulate us, whatever. So go do that. It'd be great. Also, links to all of our social media outlets are there. As I mentioned earlier, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit. We'll have a subreddit ready to go. We're going to do a Discord. We have a Discord server. The show notes contain a link to our server. You can go there. We're going to talk about E3 in our Discord server. Interact with us on social media, and you can find us lastly at twitch.tv/80bitpodsmash, where we go live every Monday and Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. Monday for a news show, Wednesday for a live gameplay Let's Play. You can interact with our audience and hang out with us, ask us comments, questions, thoughts, and ideas. It'd be great. We'd love to have you. We'd love to expand our community, so tell your friends who we are. And that's it. We're Penguin and Termite.
Boom.
E3. Get hype.
Thanks, T-Bone, for joining us and interacting with us as always. If you want to be cool like T-Bone, then subscribe to Twitch so that way you can chat with us. And don't be scared, don't be shy, we don't bite. We'd love to talk to you, engage with you, interact. So,
next episode, I would like to talk about Housemarque and our final Returnal thoughts, as well as a developer profile on them and their history. What do you think?
Yeah, we can make that happen.
So, it's brand new. You're getting some inside baseball between Penguin and Termite. So next week, we're going to talk about Housemarque Games and all of their cool stuff that they've been doing.
Next week for you watching this live. Next week.
Correct.
So it'll be like mid-June episode. So, cool.
Yep. All right. With that, we will see you next week.
Bye.